So, in the news yesterday, as I'm doing this video on the early morning hours of June 10th, Irina Zarutska, the woman stabbed on the light rail train in Charlotte, North Carolina, her killer, Nicole Brown Jr., has been found incompetent to stand trial in a decision that is truly a total crock of shit. And I'm sorry for cursing, but that's the truth. But you have to ask the question, why is this in the news just before 6/11? And don't forget, of course, Irina was born on May 22nd, 2002, exactly 1 year after the Gift Tower Sacrifice episode of Buffy aired, and May 22nd is Memphis's founding date. Well, lo and behold, why this story is in the news now. Because Nicole Brown Jr., incompetent to stand trial, equals both 611 in reverse gematria and 162 in Chaldean, which of course is also 611. Absolutely huge confirmation in my eyes, especially given what I know about the 1 year anniversary of Zarutska's death, let alone how important her birth date is. Remember how I showed before that on the 1 year anniversary of Zarutska's death on August 22nd later this year, 9/11/2001 will be exactly 9,111 days old. And that is absolutely huge. Just like this and this are absolutely huge. Right in time for 6/11. Zarutska connecting to both Memphis and the Gift, and now 9/11 later this year. We can also have a look at this 3666 in reverse Sumerian, and I want you to have a look at the triangular number 672161, our Elvis Jesse water number, with our 216 and our 611 all in one. And triangular number, of course, means that if you add every number from 1 to 3666, you get that number. 523 is the 99th prime number. 9 plus 9, of course, is 18. Your 1/8 Elvis birthday. Your 666 number. May 23rd is also the day right after her birthday, Zarutska's, and Memphis's for that matter. And the 190th day of the year is July 9th, or 79. Trump will be 79 through 6/11. It's also O.J. Simpson's birthday, which connects to something I'm going to talk about later in this video. And isn't it funny that the 611th prime number is 4507? Trump, of course, the 4547 president. I also wanted to have a look and see what this equals in satanic. Wouldn't you know, 1993, the year of the World Trade Center bombing on 2/26, which would eventually wind up being Michelle Trachtenberg's death date. Michelle Trachtenberg heavily connected to that 5/22 date as well. Now, since it's 9,111 days from 9/11 to Zarutska's death anniversary, I was wondering, what is 9,111 days after 6/11? And again, my friends, I've told you they're doing this for a reason. If you go 9,111 days into the future from 6/11/2026, you land on Irina Zarutska's birthday, Memphis's founding date, the Gift Tower Sacrifice air date in the year 2051. I mean, need I say more at this point? What are the absolute unbelievable odds that 9,111 days after 6/11 would land on 5/22? That is just spectacular. So again, this news story in the news right before 6/11 for a reason. No doubt about it. There is no way anyone can tell me that's a coincidence. How long have I been talking about Michelle Trachtenberg, Claire Kramer, the Tower gift episode on this channel? All about that 5/22 date. Don't forget that that episode was 9,111 days old on May 2nd, when Golden Tempo won the Kentucky Derby, when Olivia Rodrigo hosted that horrible Saturday Night Live show. Kyle Busch's birthday. Dwayne Johnson, aka Boxer Santeros' birthday. Remember that Bush died on 5/21, the date that Timothy McVeigh was 9,110 days dead, and that the next date, 5/22, was when McVeigh was 9,111 days dead. And then on the 1-year anniversary of Zarutska's death, 9/11, 9,111 days old. So yeah, it is all interconnected like one big chain. And if you didn't believe before, believe it now. Because again, 9,111 days after tomorrow, 6/11/2026, is May 22nd, 2051. The year isn't important. It's all about that 5/22. Now, this isn't as important, but I wondered what it'd be if we went that amount of days from 8/4 this year, and it lands on July 15th, 2051. July 15th is the 196th day of the year. The 196 composite is 250. This is the year of the big 250. July 15th, also the release date of that film True Lies that I decoded a while back, that fully connects to both 9/11 and 6/11. And also back to Trachtenberg through Eliza Dushku's character, who steals the nuclear key. Remember, Michelle played the key, and Eliza was on that show with Michelle. And if you go 9,111 days in the past from August 4th this year, it lands on 8/24/2001. I thought it was interesting that on that date, Air Transit Flight 236 ran out of fuel over the Atlantic Ocean due to a fuel leak and made a successful emergency landing in the Azores, saving all 306 people on board. Remember, this was less than a month before 9/11. And Air Transit Flight 236 equals 4/19. What happened on 4/19/1995? The Oklahoma City bombing. Again, Timothy McVeigh just turned 9,111 days dead on Memphis's founding date, the Gift Tower sacrifice air date this year, Irina Zarutska's birth date. And there in that very, very hard to find matches Latin cipher, it also equals our 888 beast system number. Remember, in the Gift, Glory, the beast, wanted to open the hell portal. And in Chaldean, it equals 284. Michelle Trachtenberg, the sacrifice to open the hell portal, born on the 284th day of the year, 9 months, 11 days into the year. So that 9,111 number sure is connecting a lot of these same people together and events. We also have 1334 in Sumerian, which is the 1,116th composite. You're upside down, 9/11/01. Exactly the number we're taking a look at. And you know what makes this even better? 4/19. You remember all the connections with Timothy McVeigh and Michelle Trachtenberg? And of course, McVeigh has the initials TM, and she has the initials MT. Well, 4/19 is the 81st prime number, and her birth date leaves 81 days remaining in the year. Her reverse birth date is 3/22, the 81st day of the year. And we also have a 3/11. 3 times 11 is, of course, 33. And 3/11 is the 64th prime number. The Space Needle is currently 64 years of age. 6/4 is 8/4 on the Roman calendar. And the place that the plane successfully landed safely, Azores, just so happens to equal 84. Go figure, right? Also 33 over there in reverse reduction. 1056 standard. Donald J. Trump equals 1056, as you can see here. He also has our 888B system number. And again, the amount of people on board, 306 or 36. You know they love that 666 number, however they can get it. And on that same date, this guy, Hank Sauer, died. Born 317, the backwards 713, the big 137, the 33rd prime in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the PP. And of course, he died at the age of 84. If you use his full name as it's listed on Google with the Hank in there, it equals 215. That, of course, is Seattle Slew's birthday. We have our 66 twin number in Chaldean, 1626 in reverse Sumerian, or 162 in the year 26. There's our 91 over there, you know, who's currently 91 years of age. And in Latin, 1666. Of course, 1 times 666 is just 666. And if you remove the Hank, since, you know, Hank is another form of Henry, we get our 1086, the B system number in Sumerian. We also get 181 ordinal, that is the 42nd prime number. And note that his name is Henry John Sauer, like Donald John Trump. Died at the age of 84. There's a 197 in there as well, which can be 719, Trump's reverse birthday, our 73 EL number. And 1607 in Latin, which is the 253rd prime, who was supposedly assassinated on the 253rd day of 2025, Charlie Kirk. More potential Trump assassination codes. Just Henry Sauer, our 816. You know about that date, 804. 35. Who was the 35th president? JFK, with the head wound. But he went by Hank Sauer, and that gives us our 98, our 35, our 145, our 55, all highly important numbers. 870 in reverse Sumerian, the 719th composite, 719, Trump's reverse birth date. As for those important numbers at the top, 98, the prime number is 521. Kyle Busch died on 521, the 141st day of the year. 141 equals Seattle Slew, June 11th, World War III. It's when the Pearl Harbor film premiered in 2001, 3 months, 22 days before 9/11. Of course, 1998 is the 666 year. That 145, the 145th day of the year, is May 25th. Remember that was Shannon Doherty's final appearance on 90210 in the year 94. And I've shown how that 100% connects to 84 in the past. And the 145th composite is 188, the Michelle Trachtenberg number. The prime number is 829. August 29th is 9/11 on the Julian calendar. It's also Judgment Day in Terminator 2. It's when the Trump family disappeared in 2016. An event that 100% was predictive programming for Trump's eventual head wound, in my opinion. And 145 is the 110th composite. Again, that connects to 9/11, that connects to Trachtenberg, etc. And again, he died on the same day as that plane incident where they landed safely in Azores. Born on 3/17. Remember, the first Final Destination film came out on 3/17/2000. All about Flight 180 exploding. A very coded series. Now, getting back to Michelle Trachtenberg, who of course is very connected to that 5/22 date. Again, she was born October 11th, 1985. I wanted to see what it broke down to in the weeks and days going from her birth date to 6/11. And it turns out that it's 40 years, 34 weeks, 5 days. Which is normalized to 40 years, 243 days. Now, why is that important? Pay attention to that 243 days. Because if we go from Michelle's last birth date to 6/11 this year, it's 243 days. However, if we include the end date, it's 244 days. And remember, including the end date absolutely counts. Again, it's like a chain link. So that would make this 40 years, 244 days. And guess what 40 plus 244 equals? It equals 284, man. She was born on the 284th day of the year. So if we include the end date, going from her birth date is 40 years, 244 days. 40 plus 244 equals 284. That's 9 months, 11 days into the year. Do you get what I'm showing you here? Absolutely insane. And remember, Irina Zarutska's birth date, Memphis' founding date, the Gift Tower sacrifice air date, the 142nd day of the year. 142 plus 142 also equals 284. And 284, by the way, is 168. Remember that the 168th composite is 216.84. So again, I'm telling you, in my personal opinion, Michelle, 100% the biggest sacrifice ritual they have done in a long, long time. In fact, you could say she was the key ritual. And including the end date, going from her birth date to 6/11 in the same year is also 8 months, 1 day, 81 again. 322, her reverse birthday is the 81st day of the year. Her birthday leaves 81 days remaining in the year. So yeah, all connected. And I told you I would get back to O.J. Simpson because something I've been meaning to show for some time but keep forgetting to show is this. On the date of Nicole Brown's funeral procession, this car here was front and center in all the media pictures. Now, why is that? I want you to take a look at the license plate. 3G32637. Because that license plate right there, predictive programmed 9/11. And that is the reason they had it front and center in all of these pictures. So, consider this just 2,637. Add 3 and another 3 to that. Get 2,643. Now, what happened the very next day after the funeral procession? The infamous white Ford Bronco chase. One of the most remembered events of the 90s by far and away. People remember where they were when this was unfolding. I know I do. And of course, people also know exactly where they were when 9/11 was unfolding. Well, would you look at that? If we go from the date of OJ's Ford Bronco chase to 9/11/2001, it's 2,643 days. And this vehicle is white, just like the white Bronco. And again, 2,637 plus 3 plus 3 is 2,643. The exact amount of days from OJ's Bronco chase to 9/11/2001. So they used this event to predictive program the biggest sacrifice ever on U.S. soil. And they used O.J. to do it. Do not forget that O.J. Simpson was in the film The Towering Inferno. What does that remind you of? 9/11. And in my opinion, the G, that's the 7th letter of the alphabet, that is there because 1994 was 7 years before 2001. So again, this license plate absolutely perfectly lines up with 9/11/2001. You just have to know what to look for. You just have to know how to read their hidden messages. And I actually was going to do a video dedicated to this quite some time ago. I even got halfway through it, but I wound up procrastinating and deleting the video. Very important information. Better late than never. I mentioned it in Garo's chat recently, so I thought I would show it here on my channel real quick, because I've never seen anyone else bring this up. There's the white Bronco there. It says Manhattan Beach, Manhattan Ford. And again, in contrast, our funeral procession car that was front and center and all over the media, so we could all see that license plate. Hidden in plain sight. So I showed you how the license plate predicted 9/11. Now, isn't it funny, if we go from the date of the chase to 6/11 this year, it's 11,682 days. Our 82 Seattle number with our 6/11 upside down 9/11. And if you go from the funeral procession date where the license plate actually appeared to 6/11 this year and include the end date, it's 11/6/84. Both dates, 8/4, 6/11 included in there. And remember, on the Bronco it said Manhattan Beach, Manhattan Ford. Of course, Manhattan Beach is in California, although it can also be seen as predictive programming for 9/11, which happened in Manhattan. And Manhattan Beach just so happens to equal 666 in Sumerian. Our 1602 in reverse Sumerian, drop the 0, it's 162. And our 111 ordinal, the 111th day of the year, is the Space Needle's opening date, and 9/11 is its reverse date. And Manhattan Ford gives us our 21684 in reverse. And one last thing to show you here real quick. It could be meaningless, but I thought I'd show it anyway. Note this writing right here, TCP 2476P. Just TCP equals 39. And again, you know how that connects to the year 2026, as it's the 26 composite. We also have a 42 in there, 144 in Satanic, which equals everything from Mark of the Beast to Alien Invasion to Economic Reset and more. Include the extra P at the end, get our 55 Satan number, our 223 in Latin, which is a big number in and of itself, but it's also our backwards 322, Skull and Bones, and 195 Satanic, what happened on the 195th day of 2024. And then you include the full thing, complete with the number. It equals 74. Again, this is the year of the big 250. 214 in Satanic, the 214th day of the year is August 2nd. 82 equals Seattle, 82 J.D. Vance, 42 Chaldean. And 242 in that important Latin cipher, which is the 188th composite. Again, 188. That's Michelle's number. That's what her name equals in gematria. But anyway, I just wanted to get a quick video in. All glory to God. These are some very important connections. Thank you for watching.